What up and welcome to the Beneath the Dirt podcast. I'm your host, Rombone. Thank you for tuning in. We got a special guest this week, the Thursday edition of the podcast. His album, This Is Revenge, just hit digitally finally. We got Claas up in here. What's good, dude?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, just chilling.
Yeah, same.
Fuck yeah, the album, This Is Revenge, finally hit digital. Had a little snafu there for a minute. Distribution issues.
Yeah, I guess we're dealing. I guess they're dealing with something with CD Baby that's been going on for a minute. I don't really know what it is, but I know they were having an issue trying to put out some of scum shit a while ago, and I guess it kind of flowed over to mine. There's a whole song that I gave to CD Baby like fucking a month month and a half, 2 months ago that was supposed to come out because I was dropping tracks before the album, and they never put it through or anything. So I guess we went with somebody different. And I mean, I wasn't even sure it was like I didn't even know it was out. I'll be honest. Like I was kicking it at my parents, just and I fucking happened to check Spotify and boom, there it was. I knew we had to clear Kung Fu's verse, but I knew we had got that all finished. But they didn't. There was no updates. Like they didn't. Like like even Spotify. Like normally Spotify will send you a thing saying your next release when it's pending. I didn't even get that. That motherfucker was just out.
Oh, they dropped it with no warning or nothing.
Yeah, I didn't even have time to say, "Hey, it's coming this day." It was just like boom. It was out.
At least it's out. It's finally out.
Yeah.
For people to listen to. I haven't dropped like my thoughts on the record yet. I've had the album for over a week because I pre-ordered the hard copy.
Yeah,
So I've had
appreciate
plenty
that.
of time to listen to it. But I wanted to wait for it to be on digital to really talk about it. That way, if people got interested, they could go check it. But this album is really good, man. Like probably your best work yet. And you're just killing it on here. The way it sounds, mixed, master, all that shit. The production on this album is really good. I like how you incorporated like rock elements on here. Just really dope shit.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've told all the homies. I personally feel like it's the best. But I told people a long time ago, like I've been doing this for a long time, but I've never felt like I've reached like my pinnacle. Like I've never felt that way. Like I feel like I've forever changed, and I'm sure because you've known me for a while. Like my sound constantly changes and grows, and I've been forever just trying to find myself as an artist. Like I never like to be the same, but I want to be. I've always wanted to be confident in who I was as an artist, and not just people like this one fucking song, and so I'm just going to be that guy forever. I don't want to be that guy. Like I want to change all the time and kind of be that chameleon where you never really know what you're gonna get. And I mean, I'm so into metal. Like to be honest, I'm more into metal than rap. Like I listen to a lot, and so being able to add that in and being able to find some dope producers and I just felt like I went to the big studio out here that I mean they've done stuff for they did like ice cream paint job and shit like that, like all these big hits and shit for the South. And so I went there with my my boy Sean, and he just understands what I want to do. He did a lot of the recording for me on the UGA stuff. Anything that I did when I couldn't be in Louisville with Buck. So he knows what I like to sound like, and man, we went in on this whole record. I mean, it's aggressive, which I always want to be. It's wordy, which I always want to be. It's got a fuck ton of wrestling shit, which I always love to do. I like to bury wrestling as much in my shit as I can because I fucking love it. I mean, it's like, man, it's everything I wanted an album to be, and I'm mad proud of it.
It's a dope album. That was one of the points I was going to bring up. Like, I mean, I've anybody that follows you on Twitter knows you're a wrestling head. There's mad wrestling references on this album.
Yeah.
The CD
Yeah,
version
I
has
took man, I did. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the CD version has a bonus track, Stone Cold, which is a dope track too.
Yeah, I got like a whole shirt thing and everything for that that song. I haven't put out yet that McNasty did for me. That's fucking super dope. Uh, but yeah, I mean, like you said, anybody that knows me, in real life, or anybody that's on Twitter, and shit like that, they'll know. Like I'm a big me and my friends are big wrestling heads. We've been doing the Fago Club thing for a long time. It's just juggalos and wrestling, and so I mean I try to throw in shit anytime I can for anybody that digs wrestling. And I mean, like on this record, if you dig wrestling, there's a lot of shit in there that you'll dig. Cause I mean, I've got some good ones on this record that are like so obscure, you have to be like into like wrestling to really catch them.
Right. Yeah, man. It's uh, your wordplay on this album is really really dope, and you got some good features for this album. You had good features for your last album as well, but I mean, I think this ROC verse on here, Devil May Cry is like standout track.
Yeah.
Ever since Article 3 dropped, that shit was just like, God damn, that shit's fire. And I
Yeah.
think he got like one of ROC's best verses in the last few years. Like that, he killed that shit.
I agree, man. The wildest thing, man, like I don't know if many people, like it's kind of sad that more people don't go to that dude for verses. Like he's one of my favorite artists. Uh, he's one of the coolest guys I know. And the wildest shit about that dude is like he's done a couple tracks for me. And I swear to you, I'll send that guy the track and less than 6 hours later, he'll have that fucking thing back to you, dude. It's pretty amazing how good that dude's mind works and how quick he can write a verse and how good that shit sounds every time he does it. He came through. Both him and Kung Fu came through with like wild ass verses. So I mean, I'm glad my shit sounded like it did because they they came through, so hard that I was happy that my shit stacked up. I feel like my shit stacked up to what they did.
Yeah, for sure. You I've been listening to you since Anarchaic, and like the improvement since then is just like, it's just so awesome to see. I
Yeah,
love when artists improve, play with new sounds instead of just doing the same shit over and over again. Sometimes it works, but
yeah,
after a while it's like, all right, we're just being a dead horse here. And your evolution has been fun to watch.
yeah.
And
It's like fucking like wine. Like I feel like as I get older, I get better. Like I'm getting better with age. I just feel like my mind works differently. Like I'm not just trying to rap. Like I'm trying to put out full fledged fucking songs from start to finish. Shit that can that people can listen to start to back instead of just here's a song. Hey, I rap. Like I mean everybody fucking does at this point.
right. I mean, I found you through the horrorcore forums back in the day.
Yeah.
And there's some people that if they would have stuck around, just stuck it out, they could have done the same shit, evolve. But a lot of those dudes from those forums, back then just didn't stick it out. I'm glad you're one of the ones that did stick it out, and you're still
Yeah.
here in the shit. I feel like there's more eyes on you than ever.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. I mean, to be honest with you, I really hope so. I mean, you don't want to, as an artist, you don't want to put, everything that I put into this record and feel like, it's not doing what you feel like it's supposed to. I mean, I feel like, even though I've been around for a long time and a fucking ton of people know me and, I'm in UGA and, I'm with LSP, I still feel like I get slighted, and overlooked to a point, and I feel like this record kind of, can help change that. I think this record, like more than shows, like, regardless of what I'm doing, like, I mean, I can do this, like, with the best of them. I may never be as famous as some people, but, I'll guarantee there's a lot of people that are bigger than me that would not out rap me for shit.
I mean, that's the confidence that you need to have to do what you do.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, shit.
Yeah. If you don't, there's something wrong. If you don't have
Yeah,
that, and anything, if you don't have that confidence, if you don't feel like you're better than the next man, fuck you doing it for?
that's true. Yeah, I mean, you're just gonna sit there and stalemate the whole time.
Exactly. Um, you did bring up McNasty. When we get in a full scale riot, what's it going to take to get McNasty and you together for full scale riot?
Bro, I'm not gonna put that man on blast, but I'm gonna put that man on blast.
There you go.
All I'm saying is, and I love Chris. Man, Chris is the guy that basically got me into rap. And for a lot of people that don't know that, or if you don't know who McNasty is, look him up because he's one of the illest dudes ever. And he's the guy that got me into rap. But man, I was ready. Like I fucking, was like, yo, we should do a full scale riot. It's going on 20 years. We should do one. And he was like, I bet. And I was like, cool, cool. I was like, so he sends me this fucking folder with a bunch of beats and shit that he has, and I'm like, oh shit, like it's like fucking Christmas, So I go to work. I'm not even fucking with you. I go to work, bro. I had within maybe a week and a half, I had 9 tracks,
Damn.
fucking ready. I had 9 tracks. I had went to Mad Max and got a fucking verse from Mad Max. I had sent the tracks to McNasty. I had a fucking album cover made. Like I
Damn.
was I was in, like I was so in. And it just turned out that, Mac just time wise wasn't gonna be able to get it, get the shit done. And so I mean nothing against Mac. Like I said, I love that dude, shit happens. He apologized, whenever they were down here for I did that big show. We had a big show when Shy One came back and shit, and they were down here. And I mean, that man apologized profusely, like, yo, it was on me. Like, I thought I was ready, and then, shit came up, and it is what it is. I still hope that at some point that comes to fruition. I mean, I hope a lot of things. I mean, I've talked to Shy about, doing like a little mini Breach of PCP. I've talked, the thing with me and McNasty, we've constantly run the gamut of, thinking about trying to do some sort of, reconnect for Riff Raff. I mean, I'm always down, like I would love to do shit like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier today too. Riff Raff. I haven't thought of Riff Raff in a while, but when I started thinking of your past, people might not know, but I mean, Riff Raff had a bunch of dudes in there. I'm sure I can't remember them all, but Shy One, you, McNasty, Gruesome was in it at one point.
Yeah,
Uh,
Bloodshot,
Bloodshot, was LeVay in there?
LeVay, Big Slack.
Big Slack, like just heavy hitters,
It
man.
was a squad for a moment, man. It was a hard squad.
Fuck yeah. I you know, where are you at with some of those guys? With like Gruesome. I know you guys kind of had a little falling out there for a while. I don't know what your guys' relationship is now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, man. We don't talk. I mean, I don't have nothing against him. I'm not the guy that's gonna, hold long fucking grudges, but I'm also not the guy that's gonna crawl back to somebody, like, shit went south, we didn't see eye to eye. It is what it is. I wish nothing but the best for you. I still to this day think that guy is one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. No, like hands down. Like I don't think there's a lot of people, that can fuck with that dude, when he's really on his, when he's on his shit. So it is what it is. Everybody else, I mean, I pretty much still have a relationship with. I mean, I still, I've seen them at shows. Like we've been doing some shows down here that they've been coming to, and so yeah, I mean, like I said, everybody else, we're all good. We talk here and there, and we've been, pining around the idea of getting back together and maybe doing a big show that's just Riff Raff and maybe doing a record and shit like that. So, I mean, hopefully one day it happens. We'll see.
That would be dope. A lot of heavy hitters. I mean, Big Slack's a dude that people don't know, but that dude can rap his ass off too,
Oh
man.
yeah, super. He was super, but he had bars, man.
Yeah.
Like yeah, that dude had hella bars.
Yep. And then Shy One. I mean, come on, man. The Cemetery, Where I Stand, Where I Fall, like just classic shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's another one, dude. It's like, you know, he kind of disappeared for a minute and can't, you know, now he's back, which I mean, I'm happy about. Like the dude deserves his fucking flowers at this point. Cause I mean, let's be real, like a lot of this shit that niggas is doing now is what he was doing in like '02. Like that sound, like that old 3-6 sound that like, you know, Suicide Boys and all these people are fucking rocking. Like literally, these dudes should be paying homage to like Shy also because that whole sound he was fucking doing in '02. Like, I mean, it was a little bit different. You know, it wasn't like lo-fi and shit like that. You know, it was more horror, but it like literally it's the same concept. It's like it's the same, it was the same fucking shit that he was doing. Like he was ahead of the game on that. And like it sucks that he disappeared because I feel like if he didn't, that dude might be fucking a superstar at this point, you know?
Yeah, that's when he finally released The Door, it was like, man, you know, if people don't know about this guy, like this what people are doing now, this dude was doing 15 years ago, 20 years ago, like just
Yep.
shit. So it's dope to see him back. I'd love to see you guys work together. That'd be
Although
fun.
still on a side note, fuck him for The Door, bro. That man put that album out with no knowledge, didn't say shit to anyone, and bro, my verse is like so fucking. I think I referenced MySpace in that motherfucker. Like dog, you couldn't give us a like you couldn't give me a heads up and like let me re-record my shit and like throw out like you know Twitter or something like you know.
Right.
Like
You
my shit sounds so goddamn like I sound like I'm fucking, you know, as old as I goddamn am in that song, man.
Yeah, dude, like you could tell listening to that album, like that album was supposed to come out in '06, '07.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy he put it out, but like he could have he has my number. He could have called me and let me go in the
Right.
studio real quick. Wouldn't take no time.
That's funny shit, man. But yeah, definitely glad to see him back. Um, yeah, I was thinking about it. You know, you've been on LSP for a few years now. I don't ever recall hearing the story how you linked up with Scum and ended up joining LSP. For people who don't know, like you've been on a bunch of underground labels, you know, going way back. But
Yeah.
now it seems like you found a home with LSP.
Yeah, man, I have, dude. I mean, and I mean that's just kind of the way the shit went when, you know, back in the day. Like there were so many labels, and it's like if you know, if one, you know, and it wasn't even like leaving labels back then. It was like the label would just fucking crumble. You know, like people didn't have funds and like the labels would just fucking disappear off the face of the earth. So you would just go to the next. Um, I honestly think the only one that's still withstanding is Mission Infected. I mean, it's not a label anymore, but I think that's the only thing I was a part of that still like fucking exists.
And it's a
Um,
shame you weren't on Chemical Threats 3 or 4 when that shit dropped.
yeah, you know, funny story. I mean, I'm not going to get deep into the details, but I was supposed to be on the one that that last one that came out that they dropped. I did a whole promo thing and everything, like took pictures and shit out in Dallas that they wanted me to do, and they, if I'm not mistaken, they announced me, and then I wasn't on a single fucking song. It
No.
was, yeah, that's a story for another time, I guess. But uh, as far as it goes with LSP, I just at the time I wasn't happy. I was actually considering, you know, quitting rap. I wasn't really happy with what was going on. I wasn't doing much. I didn't feel like shit was going anywhere. Um, and my boy Kenny was like, you know, hey, why don't you talk to, you know, Scum and them? Like you know, you've been friends for a while, you know, for a long time, and you know everybody over there fucking knows you. You know, why don't you talk to him? And I was like, you know, yeah, I mean, you know, why not? You know, let's, you know, I'll see what's up. And so Scum happened to come to town on tour, and me and him had a conversation. You know, basically, you know, just you know, what would you think? And he was behind it. He was like, man, you know, that could be dope. You know, and he said, let me talk to um, the, you know, the triad, the other people that had backing, and you know, everybody was good with it. And so, you know, we held off any sort of announcement, and then that was the year we did fucking with Snuff One at the Gathering, or what do they call it? I don't
Was
remember
it
what the fuck they called it, but
was that the 50 Shades of Snuff?
there it is. Yeah, 50 Shades of Snuff. We did 50 Shades of Snuff 1, at that gathering, and that's when they announced me. And man, it's been all love since then. I mean, like if I we I love everybody on the label. Like we all have a good rapport. Whenever we get together, everything is all good. There's not really any like fucking in label hate or anything weird like that. Obviously, Scum works with, bears with me because I mean, the first album took 2 years and the second album took 3 years, so, he kind of, even, I mean, he'll be on my back. Like, I'll get that fucking, like, Class, I need you to, get the album done so we can put this up. I'll get that message every so often. But, Scum is one of the coolest motherfuckers on earth. So, it's cool to, work with people that kind of get the artistic process. And even though, I mean, he wants it done, he understands that, the end result's going to be better if you just kind of let me do my thing. And so, yeah, man, I mean, it's been dope, dude. Like, I have no qualms about it. I fucking love LSP, man. It's been a really good home, and it feels like it. It doesn't feel like a label. It feels like, it feels cool. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but it feels different.
That's dope. And shout out to Scum when the new album was supposed to drop and it, and the distribution fucked up. He went on Instagram and was like, "Look, I'll take responsibility for this. I'm the guy that runs the label." You don't see dudes step up like that. Like,
Yeah.
it'll just be people are just like, "What the fuck happened?" You don't hear shit, and then all of a sudden the album's out. For him to stand up,
Yeah.
it's like that's some stand up shit.
And I think it kind of helped, because it kind of let people know that like I wasn't bullshitting because I was pressing hard on the promo, like telling trying to and then like the day comes and it nothing happens, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? So I hit them up immediately, and you know we found out what was going on, and so yeah, it was really cool of him to make that statement and kind of let people know like the shit is coming, we're good, like and then kind of take responsibility. So that was dope to me.
Oh yeah, just dope stand up shit that you don't normally see
Yeah.
happen at all. It doesn't matter underground, mainstream. You just don't see that shit
Yeah.
ever happen. So shout out to Scum for that. I also wanted to talk about, um, you were part of, you're a juggalo. You've been a juggalo for a minute. Um, I saw you mention it recently within the last couple of weeks how you used to be like on real juggalos back in the day.
Yeah.
Old ninjas like me. If you've been around, you remember real juggalos and all that shit. Um, so it's dope to see you go from real juggalos to where you're at now. Working with Twisted and being having that Magic Ninja affiliation. Eventually getting onto the M&E Riders album.
Yeah.
How was that?
Man, that was pretty cool. I mean, regardless of what some people may think or not, I mean, it was dope for me. Like even when Mike gave me the call and was like, "Hey, this is what we're doing. We want you to be a part of it." Man, I was mad excited, dude. I was like, I would immediately. I'm trying to think of my fucking name. Like, um, so it was super dope. I mean, my wife can attest to the fact that I was excited. Like, I mean, I was like, man, this is dope. Like, I mean, like I didn't give a fuck what some people were gonna think. I mean, I get it. I'm not stupid, but at the same time, I was like, man, it's kind of a full circle thing, dude. Like in my whole shit. I mean, I've been a juggalo since I was like 12, and yeah, I got into it, and then like being a juggalo, that's when I decided I wanted to rap and started rapping, and I worked for Riders.com, which was a ICP psychopathic site, and then I worked for Real Juggalos, which was an ICP psychopathic site, and then I was on what was that record called? Man, I'm fucking forgetting. Tunnel Runners.
Yes.
Then I was on Tunnel Runners, and on that was released by Psychopathic and Hatchet House, and then doing all that stuff. I did a Ballers, I did a fucking I did a Juggalo Day. I played that. I played a Ballers. I played the Gathering. I main staged the Gathering, and then like then you come around and next thing I'm doing the UGA shit with Twisted, on Magic Ninja, and then the Riders thing, and it's like, man, like man, it's like wild, bro. I've done some shit that there's only a few people, that will ever be able to say they've done, and I mean, especially, with the fucking split, touching both, doing a record on both labels. So, yeah, it's been wild, man. That Rider shit was super dope. I was amped, man. I was like, and I wanted to go hard on those verses. I get the concept. I got it. As
Right.
soon as they sent me the fucking tracks, and I was ready. So, man, it was a good honor, dude. It was a great honor to be a part of that. I'm glad Magic saw fit to ask me to be on it with everybody else.
It, and it felt like a Riders album. Listening to it, as a fan, it just
Yeah,
it felt like a Riders record. Exactly what it was. Just that gangsta shit. Everybody got their aliases and all that shit. It was
yeah,
dope to see them incorporate just everybody on the label like that. It was very fresh.
yeah. And a lot of people that were working with them at the time. So like, there's it's dope. They have like Insane E and Red was on it, and like all these people that are affiliated but aren't necessarily on the label. I mean, even me at the time, UGA we were done with what we had done, and we weren't on the label anymore. We had done the second album that we dropped after that. We had done that uh on Mob Style, and so it was cool for them to still reach out, like we're part of the family and shit. Like that was really dope.
Fuck yeah. You keep bringing up UGA. What's the status on UGA?
The status on UGA is always around. We just who knows? Like I mean, I've been so focused on this record and just in all that and all in then I know Buck and Boondocks are doing their thing. I'm always here. The minute they say they want to do something cool, until then, obviously I'm gonna keep, doing my own shit and grinding and, keeping it 100 with LSP. That's my family. So, but yeah, like I said, I mean, the minute Buck gives me that call, and says, hey, let's do this record, you know, I'm good. I'm ready.
Oh yeah, and I know people are waiting for it. People that comment on my videos because I always bring it up when I'm talking about you, Boondocks or Buckshot. I'm like, it's been a little bit since the UGA. Granted, from the first album to the second album, there was a pretty big break there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So if it could, if it happens again, that'd be fucking fresh.
Yeah. It's just got to be the right time. It's got to be the right time for everybody. Like it's got to, there's a feeling involved with those records, like, so we'll see. I mean, I'm sure we'll do something at some point, whether it's, one more or whatever, but, definitely, hopefully we do.
Oh yeah. I was remembering. I think it was the Dark Matter record. Seeing pictures of you and Buck in the studio together working on the album, like that
Yeah.
behind the scenes to the people it's super dope, and and it builds that hype too.
Yeah. It's fun going out there, man. I like going out there and being able to kick it with Buck and, you know, uh, whenever we did all those videos, which I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but all those videos you saw, the fucking Yeti Cup, and we shot all of those in a fucking in a 1.5 day span.
Damn.
Like yeah, we I don't know if a lot of people know that story. Like I like telling stories, man. It's cool. Like there's some fun, cool stuff that I've done. But yeah, we were going on tour for Fright Fest, and so basically we flew in a couple days early to Louisville, and like basically got to Louisville and had one night of normality, just kind of chilling, and then it was full blown work from that point on. Like we got up in the morning, shot Yeti Cup, and then we started shooting the shit for man, which one did we do after that?
I
I
can't
can't even
remember.
remember. I can't like, but it was like, bro, it was like madness, like shooting all those videos in such a short fucking time. But all of them came out so dope. I think I think the craziest one was the Yeti Cup? I don't know. There was one where we were shooting that video till like 4 o'clock in the morning. It was absolutely insane. Like to the point where like after you start to feel like you're just gonna pass out in the middle of shooting shit. It's like at some point we got to be done, guys. Like I get it,
Right.
you want the perfect shot, but I'm gonna tell you this: like if I don't get rest, y'all don't get nothing.
Yeah, that's crazy. 3 videos in day and a half. That's putting in work.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember seeing you guys on that the Fright Fest tour,
Yeah,
and I remember watching you guys perform on stage, and watching you perform right before Twisted goes on stage. Like you have that spot,
yeah,
the right before every venue's already packed, everybody's there, and I remember thinking like, man, this is so fucking dope to see Claas on the stage in the Palladium right now. I'm from Worcester,
yeah,
and the venue's fucking packed, and like to see you on stage from following you from the horrorcore forums back in the day, I was like, this is so dope to see this. Like this
yeah,
moment like that I'm witnessing right now, like it was just awesome to watch.
yeah. It was a good time, man. Those shows are dope. Uh,
What's it like touring with what was it like touring with a la Zulilu?
they're wild, man. Those are crazy dudes, but all of them are super cool. So it was a good time. They fucking jammed us in a fucking coffin. Like, it was like, there was, all three of them plus Buck and me and a couple of their homies. And me, Buck ain't small, and neither are,
No.
those three motherfuckers. And so it's basically like, y'all were, you were sharing seats. Shit was pretty wild, but nah, they're really cool dudes, man. I'm glad I got to, meet them and kick it and shit, because obviously you don't, they keep to their thing, which is cool, because like we were talking about, if you want, throw it back, being juggalos, for a long time that lore never ended. Like you never saw them without makeup. It was
No.
always makeup. So it's kind of dope that Axe fucking does that. They're bringing that back. To where the average person's not going to just see them without their mask on. They're going to keep it like that the whole time when they're out at shows, and I dig that, man. I thought it was really cool, but it was also cool getting to meet those dudes without the fucking mask on, and you know kind of getting to talk to them and learn about them, and it was a good time, man. It was a really fucking good time, man. They're funny dudes.
Yeah, it seems like it. Just watching them doing their live streams and shit. Um, they seem like funny ass dudes. Uh, Wondered it would be like packed in a fucking van with those guys touring the country.
Yeah, it's close quarters.
Yeah,
Yeah, in a passenger van, it's close quarters, man.
right. You got a bunch of grown ass men fucking just touring the world.
Everybody becomes a contortionist trying to figure out a way to fucking sleep for a few hours. And
Yeah,
dude, we were the wildest shit about this. Here's another thing, man. The wildest shit about that is like a lot of people don't know how this tour went, bro. This tour was kind of weird because like, bro, we did a show in Pittsburgh, and then we had to drive all the way to Minnesota for the next show, which is like fucking 12 hours. And then we did a show in Denver, and then we drove all the way up to Wyoming. I've never been to Wyoming. That is a weird, desolate place. But then, bro, we get to Wyoming, and then our next show was in fucking Houston.
yeah.
So, and we just drove that motherfucker straight through. At one point, I hopped out, bro. I jumped in the fucking ride with Murph and rode with that motherfucker on the with the all the stage props and his fucking, because there was at least a little more room, for my big ass body, bro. Because that shit, man, those are long drives, man. That shit is rough,
That's paying dues right there.
bro. It's all good when you get on stage, but everything before getting on stage is an absolute ass whipping, bro. Like everything.
And you know, watching you guys perform, you wouldn't know that any of that shit was happening. You know, being cramped up in a van and all that shit,
Yeah,
traveling
or
crazy
being
miles.
sick. Like
Yeah,
I mean, a bunch of a bunch of us got sick. I was sick as shit for a few shows, but it was like, we'd get to the venue and it'd be a hard regimen of like fucking tea and cough drops and anything you could do just to go out there for 20 minutes. And then the minute you're done, voice is fucking gone again. But yeah, it's wild. Like the backside of touring is. It might be different when you got like a bus and shit. Like that shit probably comfortable as fuck and awesome. But yeah, yeah, not in a coffin on wheels.
it's very very fitting touring with the Zool guys in a coffin.
I agree. Yeah, for real.
Um, Back to your new record. The new record's really really dope. Anybody that hasn't heard it, you got to go peep it. It's up digitally everywhere. Back a couple more things I wanted to talk about on the record. One of the standout tracks for me, "Burn It Down" with Buckshot and Red. That shit's fire. I love
Yeah.
that shit. Red killed that hook.
Yeah, yo, he did, man. I hit him up. I like Red, man. I liked his album at the he had dropped that album at the time with I don't even know if it was the one he dropped with Magic or not, but I don't know. He had some records out that were just so dope. And he's got such a different voice. And honestly, he had we were big fans of me and my wife were big fans of the Turncoat Dirty drop. When he did that record instead of being Boondocks, he dropped that record as Turncoat Dirty on Magic. And Red does a lot of those hooks. And Red's on a ton of those songs, man. And they were like, it was like, yo, like, let me see if I can get this guy on a song. And he was super down. And when he sent me that shit back, I was like, oh my God, like this shit is super dope. And then like, we had the idea to cut it, for the first time. And it just sounds like a normal hook on the first time, but then we let it go the whole way of what he recorded on the second time, which is even doper because then that starts to sound like it's a verse too. It's extended. So man, I'm proud of that song too, man. It came through. I mean, Buck has a line in his verse that says "No limit like Percy," bro. Come on,
Fire.
that shit is so fire, bro. Whenever he sent me the rough, I was like, "Yo, did you say no limit like Percy?" I was like, "Yo, this shit is wild, bro. That is real bars right there. Like that shit is nasty." And so, yeah, man, that song is a standout for me, man. It's a good collab.
It is definitely a fire track. Got to talk about it. Song number one, "Swear to God." You come out right in the beginning. You could drown in that gutter water. Don't be discreet. Telling D you can't fuck with me because M&E. And then you go on to say, I'm never one to stray away from burning bridges. Uh,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
and I even say right after that, I say your squad's been hating for a minute now.
yeah,
I'll be mad honest. Like whenever obviously when I did the Magic thing, some people that were homies of mine on the other side, stopped being homies of mine. And I'm talking like, you know, big name people on that side. Uh, the shit's kind of confusing to me because why would you hate on another man, getting an opportunity, but it is what it is. So that line, I had a short conversation at the gathering with Ouija you know, after all that, but I put the line in there because, simply because, to be 100%, open, uh, my boy, D Nice, my right hand man, he's a huge Ouija fan. And he had been talking to Ouija and his people and uh, had agreed to do a verse for him. My man was hyped up, which, cool, like I love it.
yep,
He's hyped up on that shit. I'm a man, like, let's do it. And he was like, yo,
yeah,
I want to do it. I want to do it. You, me, him, and you. And I was like, bet. I was like, yeah, let's go. And and then what happens is uh, he ends up getting ghosted. And then eventually he gets told basically, and this was while I was on tour, he got told, um, that that the track couldn't be done with me on it, and so him being, basically my little brother was like, that's whack. Like, well, fuck it. Then, I don't want to do it. And that pissed me off, because regardless if I'm on the track or not, like that's something that he wanted to do. Like I've gotten to do a lot of really cool shit in rap with a lot of really cool people that I grew up, liking. And so that shit pissed me off as a person because it's like, me regardless, like I don't have to be on the fucking song. I don't give a shit. But you should still honor the fact that you agreed to do the song with that man, you know, because that's just how you should be.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
just how you should be. And so it pissed me off, and it just happened that I happened to be working on the record, and so I threw all that shit in there, just because it is like I'm not a I'm fucking I just turned 40. The least of my worries is burning a fucking bridge with, so like I don't give a fuck. Like if you don't like me for who I am or something I've done, fucking suck a dick. I don't give a shit. Like, I've done me the whole fucking time. Like, like I don't live, to fucking please you. Like, I mean, I've got, people in my life I need to please, and these niggas ain't one of them. So that's what it was. Like I said, I I had a short conversation with them, and just kind of put my feelings out there about it, and I'm good on it. But the record was already done. It was already part of the album. I wasn't gonna pull it off or do some weird shit where like I change the lyrics or fucking like scratch
Yeah.
it out or some shit. So
Yeah. It's a shame that, we're in this spot in this, scene that we got where collaborations and, aren't happening because of affiliations. It's,
yeah, I mean
you know,
it's a really weird fucking thing, man, and it's all kind of fucking stupid. But I mean everybody's entitled to their own fucking opinions and beliefs. So
what can you do, I guess.
yep.
Um, couple of the standout tracks. Probably my early favorite off this shit is Feast. That beat is fucking nuts. I think I was listening to it when you joined me here
Yeah,
pre-show. I love that track, man. Like that's like the go-to. Like I don't know what it is, just like that creepy, eerie production, and then you just come on it and just fucking do your thing. I love
yeah.
that song.
I mean, it's a good song, man. It's a really strong one, man. I wanted to do like this wild video. There's an old, like I think a movie from the early 2000s called Feast. Uh, like this kind of like B horror movie. Man, I wanted to do like a wild video for this shit, but I haven't had a chance. But yeah, the song. I mean, the song's meant to be exactly what it is, man. It's aggressive. I come in aggressive. Saying I don't think you realize who I am. It's meant from that moment forward. Like I don't know if people like, if you a lot of people might just listen to music and be like, cool. But like if you're really listening, like that's a message. I'm sending a message immediately for the like I'm setting a tone for the rest of that record just on those words right there. So you immediately understand that the rest of this record is going to be like mad aggressive. I mean, I throw out shit like, like fucking Taipan. Like, who throws that shit out? It's like a Japanese fucking snake.
Right?
Like, I throw out, I'm a Taipan and I'm just looking for the right time to strike. I got that venom in my veins. And then I hit him with the symbiotic, and all that shit, man. I like, because I'm, the nerdy shit, also. So, man, I dig it, man. I mean, I'll be honest, man. There's not really a record on this. There's not really a track that I can't tell you about how much I fucking love it at this point.
A couple other tracks, like you do have a decent. Probably half the album is guest features, but like the solo tracks stand out. Legendary is
Yeah,
fire. I love that shit. Crowns, that's another one that's right up there with Feast for me.
yeah,
Super
yeah. I
dope.
mean, man, Legendary is possibly my favorite song on the record is Dichotomy, because one of my favorite artists is Cage. Like he's been one of my favorite artists for so fucking long, since like Movies for the Blind, and all that early shit, dude. Weatherman, like I've been such a big fan of that dude, that getting that guy on my record is like GOAT status for fucking me. Like I'm like, oh my God, like this is the pinnacle. Like I'm here. So that's probably, but man, legendary is probably my second favorite, because I just feel like some of the shit I put together in that motherfucker is just so wild. Bro, I used Waylaid. It's like an old, like 1800s thing that fucking cowboys would say when they were fighting, bro. Like I used that shit, and it's like, I mean, I equated Ezekiel Elliott, the running back for the Cowboys, to the Ezekiel in the fucking Bible, and like all this like random shit, man. It's like that song is so fucking strong to me. I mean, the whole, I am God, I'm a king, I'm a monster, I'm not a human being. Like that whole shit, dude. Man, that song is so dope to me.
It's a fire ass track. I am legend. Like I love that shit. But you brought up Cage. You said one of your favorite artists. That's like a feature that I'm not seeing people talk about right now as of yet. But for you to get Cage on your shit, like that's some shit.
I mean, here's my thing, man. Let's be like mad realistic. Like if you're really a hip hop fan, like if you're a hip hop fan, like I know you are, like I am, like a lot of people I know are. If hip hop is your shit, then you know who Cage is. You know, he's in there with all them dudes like Necro and Copyright and like all these guys that are just like so fucking ill, with words. And I mean, but honestly, like, when it comes to like Juggalo shit, like I mean, even when ICP was kind of doing shit with him, it didn't really translate. Um, but so if you're really into hip hop, you get it. Like you understand that like this dude is one of the, like, I mean, he used to say he's the illest 4-letter word in the world. Like he is one of the best, bro. Like I mean, like his shit is so different. It's so non-contemporary. It's so wordy. It like he, like if you look at all his albums, they change. Like it's like like the dude will put together some of the wildest shit you could hear, and you're like, oh my God, like who thinks on that level? Like like I would equate, brain wise, I would equate to that dude to like Tech. I always think Tech comes out with some of this wildest shit, and you're just like, like how does your brain function like that to where you can think of this shit? And I said, man, that dude's the same kind of guy, man. It's so wild. And so I think that's why it's not really, it doesn't translate to people like in this realm. Like, let's be real, like in this underground, like horrorcore, hardcore, it doesn't really, they don't get it. They don't really get it. But outside of that, a lot of people that I fucking know, and a lot of people that are hitting me up, outside of that, have been mad excited. Like they're like, oh my God, like, because he kind of fell off the earth for a minute too. Like he's been doing his own thing, as he's gotten a lot darker and different, but I still think he's one of the illest dudes. Even if you go listen to Death Miracles, which is the last album he dropped in 2020. Like, I mean, it's different. I mean, it's way different because it's like mad dark and like, but it's still Cage. You can still hear it. Like, you can still hear that the way that dude puts shit together.
Yeah, and to throw him on a song with Boondocks,
Yeah,
like that's a crazy collaboration I never fucking would have thought of.
yeah. It's because their styles are so different. I mean, but it makes the song.
It
My verse is what it is, and then, the way Boondocks comes in, with the melody and then goes into rapping, and then the way Cage comes in just on his Cage shit, and then the way he ends it, man, that song is just so fucking dope. Like it's so dope, dude.
it is. When you first released the track list, I was like, this dude got Cage on his album, and
Yeah.
that's crazy shit. Very dope.
Yeah, I was excited, man. I was because it's all a process with shit like that. It's a fucking process, man. It's like a lot of shit, like, a lot of people I know, like I know One Ton, I know Kung Fu Vampire. Like I know these guys, you know, so it's just a matter of asking. Like we have a rapport, you know, cool. But with that dude, it was like it's like a whole nother like fucking like level. It's like that real fucking level, like, you know, where they got to listen to your song. And then, you know, once they listen to your song, you know, if they vibe with it, then they'll be like, all right, you know, bet, let me see what I can do with it. And then, you know, like, I mean, even Cage, he would give me updates. I mean, the man, like, I guess he writes real different, you know, like, so he would be like, well, I got the first, you know, 4, you know, and I'm going to go back to the next 4, you know, like in a couple days. And then he'd be like, all right, I got all I got to do is like the last. He said, I'm gonna get back to that, you know, in a few days. And then he sent me the rough. And I heard the rough and I was like, yo, this shit is fucking fire. And he was like, all right. He's like, I'll go back. He was like, I'm glad you like it. So now, you know, I'll go in there and record it. And I was like, what the fuck? Like I thought this was the recording.
Right.
Like, what you mean? Like, holy shit, this shit's gonna get better. And then when they finally sent the final mix, bro, I was blown away, dude. That shit is so nasty. It's so good.
Yeah, man. That is such a good song. Another dark song too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always gonna have that vibe, man. I know I don't, you know, I don't think people consider me like horrorcore or wicked and like all that. But I mean, a lot of people probably don't know all my roots and shit. Like a lot of my early shit. I mean, shit, 95% of my early shit is dark as fuck. But I don't do it as much now. You know, I'm just kind of I like being aggressive and hardcore. I don't really need to, you know, fucking put an axe in Janie's back anymore. But but I still like it. I still have that vibe where sometimes you just, you know, you like to get darker on shit and just, you know, kind of have people think. Like that song in general, Dichotomy, like it's a you know, it makes you think in general too, you know, the thought process between heaven and hell. And like which way would you go? Which way do you pull? Which way do you feel like you are right now? You know, shit like that. Like, you know, can you balance, you know, being pulled one way but feeling like you know, like that whole vibe on the song is that's why that's another reason I love that song so much.
Yeah. It's a really good song, and you know, you don't hold no punches. You've always been super aggressive in your music. This album just, you know, super aggressive. You ain't gonna find no fucking love songs on this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't do love songs, fam.
No. But yeah, I appreciate you doing this interview. If you got any, you know, I know the new album's out, go get it. Anything else you want to plug?
No, man, that's basically it, man. Get the shit, listen to the shit. You can go to gorehop.com if you want to hold a fucking actual copy of it, like an old school fucking person, and, you know, feel a CD and, you know, actually have that feeling, you know. Yeah, you get all the panels and shit and all that good stuff. But I mean, if you're not one of those people, I mean, it's available fucking everywhere. So just go listen, man. Go listen, share it, please. You know, like I said, I put my heart and soul on this record. The vibe right now is real good. I think everybody's enjoying it, but you know, we can get more people enjoying it. So that's it, man. Help TCH.
Fuck yeah. All right, man. I appreciate you hopping on. Go check out Claas's new record. This is Revenge. Digitally everywhere. Cop the CD, Gore Hop. And I'm Roll Bone of the Beneath the Dirt podcast. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.